Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat at Inside Lowell. I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. I'm so excited to have our guests on today from the Lowell Youth Baseball and Softball League. So you guys were described by Anna LeMay. We were going back and forth yesterday on Instagram. I went to middle school with Anna, so I've known her forever. These guys can run the world, she said. We have Chris Snow, Matt LeLacheur, and Ryan Rourke. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Very good.
So nice to see
Good
you.
to see you. Some would say Three Amigos. We call ourselves the Three Stooges, but
I'm going to go with
either way.
Stooges.
Yeah, I agree.
Based
But
on,
we took time out of our busy schedule of running the world to come here and hang out with
That's
you.
it.
and we're so happy to have
In our own
you.
minds.
Very exciting stuff happening right now.
Absolutely.
Think so?
Yeah, so let's kind of dive right into this new organization that was formed.
Sure.
Mr. President?
Mr. President, I'll kick this off. This has sort of been, I don't know, 50, 60 years in the making. We've had all these youth organizations throughout the city that have long-standing traditions, and back when there were thousands of kids playing baseball and then softball, we were able to function and on our own little organizations. But as time has gone on, there's been more integration. People are looking to do more things throughout the spring. There's different sports, there's different activities that the old loves, the baseball and softball, sort of fallen off a bit. So our goal is to really re-energize that and really get kids excited. What was that quote from Eric today about kids think baseball is boring, but so is the ocean.
The ocean until no one understands it. That was very philosophical.
Wow.
Read
Wow.
that.
Yes.
He got that in a fortune.
I don't know. Counselor Gitcher, where'd you get that, fella? But it's something that most folks 40 plus, they all play baseball or softball at least for a little bit. So our goal is to really take what was built by all of our founding organizations, Shed Park, PYO, Highlands, Callery, and Centerville, and some of the old leagues that the Oliveras and the AYOs of the world. I really miss all those, to really take what that has been built and take it into the next generation and really get something that's exciting, get kids back onto the ball fields in the spring and the summer and in the fall, and it's a bright future for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ryan touched upon some of the key points of kind of why it all happened. And as I'd mentioned in other discussions, when COVID came, I think everybody had to take a good hard look at what we were doing for all aspects of society, but specifically for our kids. Baseball actually under COVID was one of the only outlets left. It was outside. You could put in certain safety protocols that this psychopath over here helped build.
I'm thorough.
That is the word.
Very thorough.
I'm sure that was appreciated.
Of course.
Yes,
What should we do,
was.
Chris? Good idea. Yeah. But honestly, we joke as we tell that story, it's moments like that actually led to this, because what happened was we all had to work together. If we were going to have these kids outside getting the, social, emotional needs, that they weren't getting because of school, we had to figure this out together. And the outgrowth of it has really become tearing down a bunch of walls that have been built over the course of 50 and 60 years of some of these leagues. And it's led to, I think, and what will be an amazing outcome, and really already was. And I referenced it a couple times in different conversations, to have the kids come together this last year for the first time and have us stop worrying about whether Callery beat Shed or whether the Highlands beat PYO, and instead have all of us focus on if we're going to beat Westford or
Yeah,
Chelmsford.
that's great.
Right.
And then to go out and win the state title. It was the culmination of what I hope I guess maybe I'd say it's the beginning of what I hope will be an amazing long-term level of success for the kids, which then brings more kids, as Ryan said.
No, it's true, because in COVID, right, we started our spring seasons late and we didn't have a lot of kids sign up. I think people were a little nervous, apprehensive, and then we offered a fall league, which is essentially like our spring league all over again. And so many people signed up, but we did it citywide, so it was a good introduction under the guise of COVID. But I think people realized that, and it was a good start.
Yeah,
we may not
Absolutely.
be here if it weren't for it. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
That happened.
silver lining. Yeah.
I think COVID too also made so many people, like you talked about the collaboration and how collaborative now this generation of upcoming leaders and leaders are, and just to make the community a better place,
Absolutely.
whether it be, for the kids, families, business, anybody.
I mean, you've heard the conversations for years about people talking about where's the next group of leaders, where's the next group, and it doesn't always have to come from politicians. It doesn't always have to come from some of these areas. It can be the volunteers, the people who step forward to just do what's right for the kids, and hopefully, it leads to better outcomes for the city in general when we do things like that.
Yeah, we have what was it, about 1,100, kids combined last year.
Yep.
Wow.
That's more people than voted in District 4 last year. So there's a lot more people.
There's so much opportunity just across the board in so many areas.
Exactly. So, being part of running these organizations is definitely, a big endeavor. And we've all sort of done, the best we can for sure. But a lot of times there's things that are overlapping and, sharing best practices about, who's doing what. And, I don't really care about writing all those rules and getting that. I just want to get out there and have fun. And we have
Are you the rule writer?
someone who is
I gathered that
the most honestly, Chris is the most organized, thorough.
Absolutely.
Nothing gets by him as far as hey, this let's get these names of these teams, and he'll do like a spreadsheet to make sure that these names don't.
He has spreadsheets for his spreadsheets.
I have 4 boys, right? My oldest is now out of college, and so I look at it as a parent, right? As a parent, what do I want to know? Where do I get confused?
Yeah.
What are the things that I would like to be on top of, and where do I get annoyed when I don't? So I just kind of a little on board with making sure people are informed and communicate.
It's the user experience,
Yeah,
right?
You can't communicate stuff. And to Ryan's point, to give you some perspective on the numbers, roughly 1,100 puts us on par with some of the largest organizations under our charter, which is Babe Ruth, Cal Ripken, in the area, and potentially in New England, which is kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Whereas before we were just going out as individual parks and in some, varying degrees of success.
Yeah.
Now we can actually do it as one. And the interesting point is there are a lot of people, once we started coming out with it, that said, "What took you so long?"
Right.
Right.
Should have done it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's the work, right?
Immediate success that you guys had. Absolutely. Yeah.
It didn't. This did not happen overnight, and so what took you so long? Like you've been working at that, but also you didn't all know each other before you started working together. So it's not like you guys grew up together either.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chris is very happy that you didn't have to grow up with my punk ass. Excuse me. Sorry, kids. Yeah. You all will be better kids than better adults than I am as you grow up. But no, realistically, we all grew up loving the sport. And that's what binds us all, and coming from different perspectives of it, different parks, different towns, and I think it's led to all of us having different experiences that should help this better. And it's much bigger than the 3 of us. It's much bigger than us. There are individuals from Centerville and other parks and other areas that are heavily involved that aren't represented here today. We just can't wait to see where it all goes as we build it forward.
What are the plans to increase participation? So from 1,100, I mean, wow, that's already a staggering number. So
I already threw out this morning that my goal is 2,000. So let's get
2,000 this year.
I think there's so many, and
I'm like looking at your faces, like, is this the number that you guys are also thinking?
That includes softball too, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm in sales. Ops will figure it out. So here's my thought is that
work well together.
There's so many. There's just walking around. Obviously spending a lot of time downtown, and there were a lot of kids that either didn't know about baseball or they obviously know about baseball. Oh, I didn't know there was a league, and there was a few kids last year that signed up. Shout out to my campaign manager last year, Julian. He was a kid that lived downtown, didn't really know where to sign up. Got him onto a team. But there's a lot of kids that don't live in the quote unquote established neighborhoods. Maybe you live in South Lowell or Back Central, and am I Shed? Do I play for Calgary? Do I play for Highlands? So some of them might not gravitate to it. If you live across the street from Montbello Field or Pawtucket, you know that there's a youth league. You're probably going to do it. But I think there's an underserved part of this community that just doesn't know about it, whether they're not someone in our little circles. But I think getting the word out citywide and having the city's backing and having, these type of outlets, I think we can really get there. So
yeah, and as we talk about kind of the roles everybody's playing, my role I think is the treasurer of the league. As as a business owner myself, it's make sure the engines run on time. He'll make sure everybody's doing a good job on the field, and he'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on. And my job is to kind of make sure that we're getting the checks cut and things where they go. But I bring that up only because I think it's important for everybody to understand, to expand and to grow. There is no barrier financially to the kids of Lowell. This structure has been built to allow us to have a cushion for scholarships and discounted, registration fees and things along those lines. Well, really, one of the reasons to do it was just that, to make sure we're tearing down the barriers that sometimes could be in place for some of the families here in the city.
Incredible. No, that's so huge, and I think that can weigh heavily on a lot of families, and they don't think that their kids can have access to these things, and to be supportive of that, and to know that any child that wants to play will be able to play is huge.
Absolutely. And to Ryan's point, there's a demographic. If you look at our leagues, we're always looking at who's playing. And, there's an underserved demographic. We aren't getting enough of the Hispanic population, of the East African population, of the Southeast Asian population. More and more are coming. It's great to see, and it's exciting. But it's something we have to build upon to properly represent the city, to properly represent what's here.
Yep.
And that's something we can do as parents too. I mean, my children all go to Pawtuckaville Memorial, and I know that when we were signing the kids up for Highland basketball, there were a few families that we talked to, friends of the kids, to say, oh, there's signups right now, and some of the families signed up. So it's just kind of getting the information out there and providing that level of comfort for families too, to know, like, we want you to come play.
Yep.
This is for everybody, and it's a rec league.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a rec league, recreational league. It is about fun. It is about getting kids, off the couch, and I know there's a million other activities, but get out there, get some fresh air, building a team atmosphere, just working as a team. If you pick up a bat, are you going to play shortstop for the Red Sox? Probably not. But getting out there and having fun as a team and as a community, it's great for the kids. It's great for the parents. How many parents of your kids' age are you now super good friends with? Because that little crew travels together. And sometimes it's multi-sport. These kids play basketball, they play junior high football, they play baseball. They sort of play all those sports together. So really getting that community focus out there. So if you're a parent and you're not sure about this, we're sort of marketing to 5-year-olds through, teenagers. Like, they're not necessarily the ones picking up the flyers and going on Facebook, but it's to the parents.
Yeah.
So, if you're out there listening and you're a parent, you're not really sure about this, it'll be good for you too.
Yeah.
Sports will be good for you. You're not out there, fielding, and we certainly need volunteers. Even if you don't know anything about the sport.
So what are some volunteer opportunities for people that are listening right now?
Maybe like a fundraising committee that someone might be on. Let's see.
Yeah, someone who's sitting in a Lowell hat in this room.
You are sitting in a Lowell hat.
And I'm on the committee in conjunction with someone else who's,
2 members.
Yeah.
So voted.
Fundraising is definitely one, but honestly, there are simple things right inside. Everyone thinks they're afraid to be a manager of a baseball team. All right. Men, women, they all think it's something that's this magical being of, I don't know how to this and that. Come on out. I guarantee you there's someone within the park that can give you the framework.
Yes.
From which you will be able to be far better.
Is the framework written down like in a nice guide?
Possibly,
someone may have.
We have a meeting every spring with our coaches, and we outline what they need to do. We give them resources to do it, and then we say, here's a handful of us that are pretty experienced in coaching. We played baseball for a while. Reach out. We'll design a practice plan for you. We'll individually come teach practice if we have to. Whatever it takes. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, just getting newer parents especially over that hump of being afraid to just get involved. There's a lot, especially the T-ball younger kids every year, where parents are like, I'm not sure if I want to help. I want to just kind of see what it's about first. And I always encourage them. I say, we'll walk you through it, and you'll enjoy it. It's not as difficult as you think, but it can be overwhelming for sure.
Yeah. Even if you're there to be on the bench with the kids, while the person that you may feel has a higher baseball knowledge is outside coaching, the immense benefit that gives to the person who is trying to do the baseball coaching, to not have to worry back about, we're talking about 6-year-olds or 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds.
Oh my gosh.
Put all of them in a little cage, and you need someone to keep those kids, doing the right things. And so there's so many ways.
I'm like, but putting them in a cage sounds good.
Occasionally. But there's other experiences as well. We all have concession stands. There's a chance to help out and work inside all the concession stands. At the beginning of every season, we all do a cleanup in conjunction with the city where we'll go to the parks. We'll pick up trash that's kind of gone through those areas and try to help get everything up and running. That's always a wonderful way because that's a great low pressure way to meet everybody. To come on out and everybody, get a can of paint maybe and fix a bench or do whatever the case may be. And again, the city's always been great to help provide those types of things with us.
Yep.
And so we go out and we help. And that's a great way to build the community that we're all looking for because this is a baseball and softball league, but really what we all hope is that it becomes a community of parents that are focused on what's good for the kids. And in what all of us have gone through over these last few years as parents, it is an amazing way for that social emotional help that so many of our kids need after what they went through. We all went through.
Yeah, we all need that too, right?
Yeah.
We all need that human interaction and that sense of that you belong to something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And not to, say, but, I could sometimes call it the Church of Baseball because, we are all, right? As time across the,
I'm going to let you keep on talking about this one while
we all had, for people who have grown up maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, there was a larger aspect maybe of church in people's lives, right? And for whatever reason, not judging it one way or the other.
Sunday baseball games.
Yes, probably true. But this is a chance to get back to that sense of you're all together at something. Having a community and maybe even pushing forward a common goal. And that common goal can just be the betterment of all these kids. And we all gain value in that. The kids do, the adults do.
And you talk about parents, but also grandparents, right? I'm sure you have a ton of grandparents that are going to all the games and cheering on the kids
and they can volunteer too.
Yes,
You might have more time.
I can think of one thing that any grandparent that's listening, which would be a huge help. When it starts to rain at 3:30 on any day,
what, tarp the field?
if you go down to
That'd be great too.
That would be wonderful. That would be amazing. That one, that's even beyond. Good job, Dan.
Just taking it for our volunteer opportunities.
But I'll go as simple as go down to the field, take a picture and text it to your league president to let them know whether there are puddles and whether we'll be able to play.
All right. We could have like the puddle grandparent. I mean, it wouldn't be puddle parent, but
puddle patrol.
Patrol. Like
You've thought of this before.
Yeah.
Well, so it's funny because I have a couple of parents that live near the field, so I've literally have kind of a, not really puddle patrol, but like go down and take a look. I tell people all the time, rain doesn't cancel baseball or softball. Field conditions do.
Okay.
So a little bit like if it's a huge downpour for an hour and then it's sunny out, it's gonna not be playable, because the field is wrecked. But if it's just like a little trickle and it's not too bad, you look at the field and it's still pretty dry.
Yeah. Right. Getting a little
So there you go.
education.
So grandparents join the puddle patrol.
All right.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, and I'll take from the puddle conversation, I got to give credit to the city because, feel free if you want to run with this one.
No, you can start out.
We all have, as we mentioned, put in hours trying to make sure we get the best possible experience we can for the kids. And part of that experience is going down and getting the fields ready to play. They get a lot of action over a short window of time here. And if there's, dugout areas that are at home plate, or if there's puddling around first base or low spots, when it starts to rain, you get the water in the exact same spots. And so over the years, we've all had various ways of putting chicken wire and duct tape on the fields to try to make these things playable in these moments. And the city stepped forward this year and helped us redo all of the infields for baseball and softball.
Great.
And so that should allow us, to Ryan's point, unless we get downpours, it should allow us to put a little conditioner or things on the field and keep as many games happening this
That's
year for the
amazing.
kids. Yeah.
Kudos to the city.
Yeah, give credit.
Great.
I do think it's worth mentioning one of the benefits we have as a city is we get to use our fields for free, right? You go outside the city, there are towns that have to pay into enterprise funds, and they're paying
Interesting.
money.
I did not know
where
that.
it's not necessarily equitable. They have fixed amounts of money they pay into it. Others that sort of run their own fields have additional expenses that we don't necessarily have. Where we have, you can call Shannon and Shannon Cohen, the superintendent of parks, say, I need these fields cut, and they're there in hours to do it if they're not already done, by that point. So we do have that luxury of the city supporting us to the extent they can.
Yeah, kudos to the Parks Department for all
Great.
they've done over this time while we've been doing it, getting us to where we are.
And over the summer, there was a really fun event at LeLacheur Park
Yep.
with all the different teams.
Yeah, that was sort of our senior league jamboree.
Yeah.
It kind of came together last minute. shout out to counselors, Robinson and Gitchier for really pushing the envelope on that one. I know that there's a motion out on the floor, maybe coming up soon,
This
that
coming week.
to have that again, and we're
Great.
trying to lock down a date for it, because it's something that's obviously been underutilized for the last few years, and hopefully will be utilized again at some point. I'm sure you can shed some light on that. But it's a park now that the university obviously has control over, but they're going to let us use it for a day or whatnot. I'm not sure what the framework is, but it was an awesome event. We had a couple hundred folks down there.
Yeah.
The kids got to have a home run derby and hit it out of
Professional park.
hit it out of the
Yeah.
ballpark,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to doing that again this year. And
Everybody
maybe
ate for free too, which is
Everybody
really
ate
cool.
for free
Yep.
too, which no such thing as a free lunch, but I guess there
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So
There is in the LYBSL.
exactly, there's free lunches here. So yeah, that's
Except for when you're supporting the league by eating at the concession stands.
That's right. Where credit cards are now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we take Venmo, credit cards. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. And another citywide event, we're looking to kind of throw together a big sort of kickoff parade.
Awesome.
I think we're shooting for this 22nd of April, but I'm not sure if we're nailed that down yet.
Another motion on the floor for the
yeah.
council this week.
So our goal
That's
is
Earth Day, you know that?
It is Earth Day.
Yeah.
There's a cleanup.
I'm working on
We've
it.
already
Well,
talked-
You're part of a cleanup.
I
I've heard.
am working
Yes.
on something, so off here, let's talk a little bit about how
All right,
we'll
conjunction.
support that.
This is
Yes.
the collaboration
There we
in the
go.
community, the Church of Baseball coming together, right?
And, yeah. So if anything you've gotten out of this, baseball, like God wants you to play baseball.
That's it.
All right.
Right? This,
It's your,
And softball.
it's your
Takeaway.
calling
Exactly.
to either play or volunteer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
right.
Who are you to to
involved.
say no to that? So go to March to 2,000 enrollees. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Project 2000.
Project 2000.
There it is. But there's so many more, as we know, 2000, we throw a target out there and we kid. But the reality is, if we get it right, this is more than baseball. This is about, it's building or expanding the foundation
Yep.
from which a community is built. And it's built through our kids. Batch would kill me right now for saying that because
Because of the breeder's tax.
yes, because Batch believes children are not the future; they are the death of his life. But he,
Yeah, you guys have earned the surplus, both of you. I guess.
yeah. So and so we have an opportunity, as we mentioned, to build that framework that the kids now get to learn what it means to work collaboratively. Not just on a baseball field, but hopefully they get to see from the examples of the adults, from
Absolutely.
grandparents to parents to coaches to whoever, about what it looks like, and then pay that forward as they move forward in life. So it's bigger than baseball.
You guys mentioned it earlier, I guess off here, but the resource, right? Sharing resources across leagues that, and you do a better job of explaining it, the equitable resource thing. But I think that's a huge asset and a huge reason for doing this.
Yeah, no question, Chris. References. There's every league for the past X number of years has had certain procedures, policies, things that they do. Some of them were great. Some of them needed to be fixed. And what happened when we all kind of started to talk to each other, it's like, well, that's way better than what I do. And that's better than what I do. And so when we all kind of pull that together, we're rising tide,
Yeah.
rises all boats, right?
Yep.
It's what's happening. All of the parks are starting to see the benefits, and it's going to start building to a point where you're going to see, well, this park doesn't have a batting cage, or this park needs a new piece of equipment. This is, and so all the neighborhoods will be, brought up together. And so we can get past this is Lowell. We've had many times in the past where people will talk about, well, this area got this because they have
Yep.
that access, or this politician, or this is starting to tear that down. Leads to that equity that I think we all realize is necessary.
But you also talked a little bit about, you saw that he did something better, or he did something better, or this league did something better. But that kudos to you guys, because not many people could sit there and say, oh, that's done better over there, so I'm going to model that.
Yeah,
There's people inside, and for years and decades, there's been the silos of this is how I do things, and I'm not going to look outside to try to do it better or to work with this person or this organization.
Right.
we're not
You
that
guys
far.
have shattered that.
Yeah.
We're not that far removed from people being very protective of their
Yeah.
pets and how they do things.
I know it took a
And
long.
their
I know it took a long
players.
time for you guys to
Yes.
get where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kudos to you guys. I mean, that needs to be celebrated as well.
And it is, I say, I want to make sure we reference it's more than just us.
Yeah.
It's a great group, to your
Right.
point. It's a great group of people have put their egos aside to say this is what's better for the kids. And hopefully it's a reflection of what's going on throughout Lowell as we reevaluate a number
I
of
really
things,
do see that happening.
You know?
You got to tear down, I mean, years and years of ego and little rivalries. I in the Highlands, I played for Calgary, and I grew up. My first rival wasn't Chelmsford or Westford; it was the Highlands, which is hilarious that I have a Highlands hat on.
And he lives in
But
Belvedere.
I live in Belvedere, and
And coaches in particular.
I coach in Pawtuckaville, where
Yes.
my kids live.
So Ryan was the perfect choice for president.
I am a neighborhood bigamist. That's why, but yeah, that's the thing is like you have these deep seated things like, I'm a Calgary guy. Those Highlands people that live above Pine Street. Whoa, so but that stuff is sort of had to go by the wayside. So we really had to put those egos aside. And like you said, we've tried this for years. I mean, Senior League has been sort of together now for about a decade or more.
Yeah.
But even then, it still was little fits and starts where it didn't quite work out. And all the people that have been us and before, the Ray Bootons of the world, he'll tell you like we tried this a couple times and didn't quite take. So here we are, finally all rowing in the same direction. We did it for the first time really in the summer and immediate success with, multiple age groups, especially the 11s, now 12s that won the whole thing. Like, so, we've sort of seen this for years where, we've had little bits and pieces where each of the youth league has had some success. But then when you come together at high school or Legion or some of these they've always been great. So where was that disconnect? Where that little bit of greatness only came together when we were rowing in one organization.
I know, and then the kids are going to play together, and so when they go to high school, they'll already have played together. Like, how strong are those teams going to be, right? If you already have kind of that camaraderie.
It's like trickle up.
Yeah,
where
sure.
You get kids, and this is maybe for folks that are thinking, hey, maybe I'm going to go Lowell High, maybe I'm going to go outside the city. That's obviously a touchy subject in the last couple of years, but Lowell High is, obviously that gym is great. Whether you liked it downtown or not, it's a great gym now. There's great facilities that are up and coming. So this youth organization builds into high school, being a great high school. New Messel's Division I. Hopefully we get another Sox team back here at some point. So we're going to be identified as like a great sports town, not just baseball town, but there's a lot of high schools out there throughout the state or the country that have like these great, programs. And it's like, well, it starts at the bottom. So if we can be that, foundation, we're more than happy to play that role for sure.
So when can kids start signing up?
Right now.
Immediately, awesome.
Hold on, Chris. Can they start signing up?
Yeah.
Right now.
All right.
There we go.
Awesome. You've heard it here. Breaking news.
There it
Yeah, that's
is.
right.
Yes. Now,
Awesome.
The website that everybody can go to is LYBSL. Right. I don't need the cheat sheet.
So if
Yeah.
you put it, if I put it right to that camera.
There it is.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Perfect.
You can see it.
I'll try it again if you can't read. LYBSL.org. Remember, .org. .com wasn't available. We'll try that next year. But LYBSL, and it stands for Lowell Youth Baseball and Softball League. And our webmaster here has helped make it.
I'm not a webmaster, just out of necessity.
The website looks great.
You can also sign up through your normal channels. So if you've signed up for the Highlands last year, sign up through the same site. If you signed up for Shed Park last year, PY, so wherever you signed up last year, you can do the same thing. All of those existing channels are going to be open. We want to make sure that there's no roadblocks, and we don't want to make sure everyone knows exactly what you want. And if you're not sure, then that website will have all the information on it.
That's great.
So,
And all of it funnels into the same spot. So on the back end, all those registrations come now into one database. That's
So then all the registration fees, the fundraising, everything is through in one place. So
Yeah.
this is great news for businesses too who want to support. Now your funding, your
Right.
money is going to support the whole city versus you having to choose a neighborhood to
Yep.
support. So if you are looking for a way to spend some money, kind of do something good for the community and you're watching, contact Matt.
Sure. If you go to info and send any email to info@lybsl.org, we'll all have access to, all the administrative team has access to that. And, Ryan and his crew will probably chair up the majority of the fundraising efforts.
Fundraising and marketing, that's under my
Yeah.
purview.
That's fine.
So don't worry, businesses, if you forgot that website, you'll hear from me.
Awesome. And it's just a really wonderful way to give back to the community.
Yeah, and for parents, give it if you haven't done it before, give it a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how much what many people will consider boring. Baseball is a boring sport. My kid's too active. My kids,
They need that though, right? It's almost like for them mindfulness,
Yeah,
right? Like
concentration,
their kids are
Yep.
constantly moving and going and looking for the next thing. So
Right.
let them sit in the dugout. I was going to say the cage. I'll say the dugout. And
job.
watch and concentrate and just breathe.
Yeah, and it's incumbent upon us as coaches to try to help provide that positive experience. Give us the chance. Bring your kid out. Let us do it.
Here's the other thing, and I usually have this conversation. You guys probably do too every year, where just have them try it. Right? If you don't like it,
Right.
we'll refund your money. Right? Just try it. We're not forcing people to commit. Right? If you try it, we guarantee you'll probably end up staying. But
Yeah.
if you don't, right, it's worth a shot. You'd rather people try that than just say, "Man, I'm not sure," and not do it.
Right.
Right? If you're on the fence, come on board. We'll work with you.
And for those
Yeah.
families, understand that the kids are with their own age group.
Yeah.
So it's all age appropriate. If you're coming in at 3 and 4 and 5 years old, you're getting a very rudimentary start into the game where it's more about fun and enjoyment and getting the very basics. And then we slowly will progress them through with a plan that hopefully gets them to a point that if they do love the game, to, the conversations, and they get to that 14, 15 years old of having played all that time, now they can go off to Greater Lowell Voc, Lowell Catholic, Lowell High School, or wherever is appropriate for you.
Yeah.
And they have 10 years of memories
Right.
with people from their community. And that's
That
what we're
your memories that you guys are still holding on to. Your
I
memories
mean,
from when you were a
I'm
kid.
still
yeah.
friends with their
Yeah.
Little League team. If
Yeah.
you raise your hand if you are,
Absolutely.
like, absolutely. So
I'm still mad at some of the guys that shit when they beat us when we were 9 and 10. Absolutely.
And I guess one last thing with the player thing is that obviously rec is for all talent levels, all, whatever. But we do have things in place. We make sure that we have things in place for kids that want to be more competitive, but still involved in that rec atmosphere, because it is important for, other kids that are just getting started to see somebody who's doing it for a while and
Yep.
have that model to sort of emulate. But we do have things in place like select travel teams. Obviously, we talk about the summer teams. They're very, very competitive, just the selection process. And then obviously when we get on the field, but we have something for everybody.
Yeah, and that model is another really important point, as Chris says, for the parents. If your son or daughter hasn't played before and wants to come out, they're going to be able to that experience where in the spring, as they're coming through the game, coaches, parents, everyone understand that is about getting as many people on the field, having as much fun, and learning the game as best they can. And to Chris's point, then we get ourselves into June, July, and hopefully, if you're in August, you've had a heck of a season. So, but in June, July, now you've got that window of time where we come together as a city and we're not trying to see, as I say, Shed beat Callery or Highlands beat PYO. Now we're trying to go out and beat Westford, or we're going out to beat whoever it may be. And for some of our levels, it got as high as going out to beat teams from other states. We got to, New England championships. And so that's there and that's available. So there shouldn't be a barrier for a kid. You say, well, my kid's not that great at this, that. That's not what rec baseball is really about. That's not what it's about. It's about making sure we get them out there and loving the game.
We talked about maybe having some of the kids on, some of the players.
yeah, I'd love to.
That'd be so
I'd love
fun.
to
We
have
should definitely do that.
Some of the kids, some of the teenagers, or even some of the little ones. Just have them come out and
Yes, we definitely have some personalities. I'm
we
sure
certainly do.
that better represent
Yeah,
what we do.
exactly. They'll get the likes and follows for sure.
Yeah, they'll tell you how much they like being in the cage, right? Instead of what we call it back.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is. I can't tell you how many friends over these years that we've been doing that I've been able to make, and friends that I never would have known if we hadn't gone to this model over these last few years. And there's so many more that we'd love to make. So many families that we know that are out there that our kids are going to school with, but they're not playing. Really want to try to find a way to draw those kids into this experience. And, there's more work to be done, but step one is pulling this together and the organization starts with baseball and softball, but if done right, the model can work for basketball.
Yeah.
The model can work for soccer. The model can work for other things where we all work collaboratively to make sure kids are doing as much as possible. It doesn't have to be baseball, softball, though we want to see as much baseball and
Yeah,
softball.
absolutely.
Not
do
to
it
say
some.
other sports aren't already doing it. I mean, certainly there are some sports that are doing it citywide, and they have been doing it forever.
Right.
For us, it's a little different.
Yeah, and how do we assist? How do we help that? How do we work in that collaborative way, which expands those opportunities for the kids as well? You know, we had to get out of our own way for baseball. And we tell the joke, it's really baseball. Softball figured this out like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
as always.
The ladies are always ahead of
The ladies are always ahead of the men. Yeah.
Kind of true.
That's kind of how it works.
Deny that.
So it's nice that, like anything, if you're a baseball fan, baseball moves very slowly. That's the
Methodically.
that is part of the charm. That's part of the charm of the whole thing. It is a chance for you to move through the game and see exactly what your grandfather, your father, whoever it may be, it's similar experiences. But at the same time, it was time for us to get out of our own way.
Well, thanks for getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Community
We're happy to do
appreciates
that.
it.
Happy to do that.
Can you give the website one more time?
LYBSL. I said that right this time.
Got it. Crushed it.
.org. Make sure you do the .org.
Well done.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was so fun. And so we talked about maybe coming on again, like when you're going to kick off the season.
Yeah, we're shooting for the April 22nd. Most likely is the kind of the kickoff parade.
Okay.
So we'll probably come on before that. Maybe we'll bring some of the kiddos.
Awesome. That sounds great.
So stay
Absolutely.
tuned.
Everybody
Stay tuned inside Lowell.
Everybody who's used to going to City of Lights and going to those things, we're going to try and have a parade just like it. Let's show off the
All
kids.
right. Sounds good. I'm going to run out of here after so they don't grab me to like plan a parade. All right. So thank you all for tuning into Chamber Chat. Again, I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Chamber, and we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll be back on again sometime soon with another great guest. Thank you.